Hi, my name is Nan Goel, and this video is about a project on UML Parser that I made. Basically, what this project does is converts any Java source code into an UML class diagram. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the steps as to how to execute this project, and I'll show you a couple outputs based on a few test cases. So, first off, I'm using a Java parser, which is a library available on the internet, to parse the Java code. This uses an abstract syntax tree, and it parses the Java code into tokens, which can then be put together into a format that YUML, which is another library that I'm using to convert the given input into a class diagram. So this YUML expects input to be in a certain format, and Java parser helps us put it into that format. Now, um, let's jump into execution, and I'm going to show you how to execute this process. So what happens is, first off, you'll have to download the jar file from the internet. The link is provided at the bottom of this report, and you need to open your terminal and type in the following code. The code is java minus jar. The name of this is the name of the jar file, and this is basically your, in the quotation is your input folder name, the input folder that you want to convert into a class diagram. And this is the name of the final class diagram .png file that'll be generated. And this is the keyword, generate class diagram. This keyword was put in place because I was planning to make another project which makes sequence diagram out of Java source code, but due to time constraints that wasn't possible. So for now it's only going to be class diagram. And this is how it works. All you got to do is type that code into the terminal and press enter. And this is the grammar generates. And there are two types. Basically, what I'm doing is in this grammar is firstly I'm trying to figure out what are the functions and the attributes present in the classes that have been provided in the folder in the input folder, and second I'm trying to map the associations or the mappings between those classes. So that's what this depicts. Now, the folder that we were working on. So what I did was I went into users, Goal, and I've picked up UML parser test4, and the name of the output is test4 class.png. So this is the folder where I'm at, and the output is test4 class.png, and that's how it looks. So this is the output that I got from the test folder that was provided to me. Now, I'm going to walk you through the code a little bit so that you know how the program flows. So basically, this is where we start. So this is where the program execution actually starts. This is the main function. So what this does is, in this, I'm just this class. This is basically my main. This is the class that implements the main function, right? And right here, the engine parser is the heart of the entire process. This is where the basic where I'm actually initiating executions from. So now basically what I'm doing is I'm just calling first I'm just creating an object of my engine parser type. So this is what's going to happen. I'm going to just set a few variables that I'm going to be needing to use later on. In this, basically, this is a hash map that stores my class interface mapping. Basically, it checks whether the particular class is a class or an interface, and what is the mapping between those. And this is the connection between two classes, is what is stored in this hash map. And this stores the input code file because you would have entered it through the terminal, and this is the output diagram file name. Okay, so next off, what happens is next I call the function of generate diagram, which is all the way here. So now what happens in generate diagram is I'm creating CMP units. Basically, those are nothing but uh, compilation units. So in compilation units, what happens is I'm just in a given folder there can be multiple Java files. So what I'm doing is I'm going through every Java file, the file that ends with .java, and I'm gonna make compilation units out of every Java file. So now I'll have multiple classes set in basically set as compilation units, and I'm going to use those compilation units. I'm going to parse those compilation units later on and generate a grammar out of those. Next up, I'm going to start my grammar generation process that starts in my grammar generating class. So what happens here is initially, firstly, I'm creating Firstly, I'm going to check what are the kinds of. Firstly, I'm going to find what are the interface class interface declarations. Basically, which class is declared as an interface. So I'm going to find that out, and I'm going to add the keyword interface in front of it in the grammar. That's how I'm going to store it. And next off, I'm checking what are the different types of methods present in that class, which I'm doing out here. Now, the grammar that I need to generate for methods is if it's a public method or a private method, I have to signify it using a particular symbol, which is plus for public, minus for private, and hash for protected. So that's what I'm doing out here. Next up, I'm checking whether there are any mappings in this given folder with anything else, and that's how basically the program is going to flow through this. And I'm also checking if this if a particular method has been called from another class, and what is the execution process, so that you know to figure out the mapping between the two classes. Going back to the grammar generating, next what I do is I try to find what are the different attributes present in that class, the class attributes, and that I'm doing right here. It's basically the same process. I just try to find out what are the different, if there are any variables available. So once I get those, then I check if they belong to the same class, right? And once I get that, and I um, s- I add that variable to that particular class in the grammar, and that's all is happening here. Then I just return the grammar that I generated back to the grammar generating process, and this is where it gets done. Next, I check if this class extends to another class. It could be a child class or a subclass of a superclass. So that check is also performed out here, and that happens in this function, and the grammar is generated appropriately. Sec, then what I do is I also check for associations, and checking for associations happens in this. Associations basically I'm trying to check if any variables variable of a particular, let's say there are two classes, class A and class B. If a variable of class B is been an object of class B is created in class A, then that basic association is checked in this file right here. Next up, then I just combine all the results. That is, I fetch different grammars and I store them into different variables. Like for my methods, it's in class methods. For my attributes, it's in class attributes, and so on and so forth. Now, what I do is I finally concatenate all of them in a single string, which is code gram, which is the final grammar that has been generated, and this is basically what we will be passing to the UML parser website, and that happens right here. So once I've generated my entire grammar, now what I do is uh, I call the image generator function of the class diagram generator class, which is all the way here. Now, what happens in this is I'll be passing my codegram, right? And this URL, this particular URL is provided by YUML. It's given in their tutorials that you have to pass your grammar, append it to this URL, and send it with an extension of .jpg or .png, and you can just send it, and they will return it they will return it. They'll return you the link basically. So now, yeah. So now I create an HTTP connection, and I'm sending this entire what do you say the generated grammar to the website, and these are a few web related settings that we need to do, that we need to make it sure that it accepts data application adjacent type of data, because this will be sent as a JSON, and the method I'm using to send the request is get request and all that. So now I've also added a check so that just in case I do not get a response from YUML, for some reason the website is down, at least I would know the error was not caused from my end, it was there on the website. So that's why the check has been placed, and then the result I get from them, I'm creating a .png file out here, and this is basically what my image generator does. And yeah, that's about how the code is running. and I've performed. I've run my program. I've run this project on multiple test cases, 5 test cases to be precise, and the outputs of every test case has been given in this report. And yeah, that's about my UML class diagram project. Thank you very much for watching.